Hi, good morning. It's a beautiful day today. I am currently on the nature trail at DMS on the Damerscott Montessori campus, and I'm just going to be quiet for a minute. I'm hoping that the speakers or the microphone on my camera will pick up all of the nature sounds around me. So just listen for just a minute. I can hear birds and insects, quite a lot of birds, lots of different kinds of birds. There's somebody over here that just keeps chirping again and again and again. And there's a lot of little noises over here. So even though I can't see any birds, there's a lot of them that I can hear. And I notice lots of insects in the air. So although I don't see any birds at the moment, I do notice insects, a lot of them flying around. None have bit me yet, thank goodness, because as we all know, in Maine we have a lot of mosquitoes and black flies. Something else I notice as I look around is the sky. And where you are, if you look behind me and around me, you can probably see bits of the sky also. And I want you to notice the color of the sky. I'm out here today on the nature trail observing not only the trees and the birds and all of that, but the sky as well. As you may know, Peter Reynolds is one of my favorite author illustrators, and I have one of his books here with me that I'm going to read, and it's called Sky Color. So before I started reading it, I wanted to get some inspiration and some like a little introduction for my mind. And so I came out here to look and to see. I wonder what you notice about the sky today where you are. If you look out the window, or maybe you're sitting outside right now, what color is it? Sky color. So I'm going to read Sky Color to you, and then I'm going to talk about the art project. Sky Color. Sky Color, written and illustrated by Peter H. Reynolds. Marisol was an artist. She loved to draw and paint, and she even had her very own art gallery. Not all of her art hung in a gallery. Much of it she shared with the world. She painted posters to share ideas that she believed in. At school, Marisol was famous for her creative clothes, her box of art supplies, and her belief that everybody was an artist. Yes, Marisol was an artist through and through, so when her teacher told the class they were going to paint a mural for the library, Marisol couldn't wait to begin. The classroom buzzed with the sound of brainstorming. The students talked and sketched. Together they made a great big drawing. Then they marched to the library. "I'll paint a fish. I'll paint one too. I'll paint the ocean." Marisol shouted, "I'll paint the sky." Marisol rummaged through the box of paint, but couldn't find any blue. "How am I going to make the sky without blue paint?" The bell rang. It was time to put their brushes down for the day. As she climbed aboard the bus, Marisol kept wondering. All the way home, she stared out the window. The sun lowered closer to the horizon. Later, at home, Marisol watched day turn into night. That night, Marisol settled into a deep dream. She drifted through a sky swirling with colors. The colors mixed, making too many to count. In the morning, Marisol stood waiting for the bus in the rain. The sky was not blue. She smiled. At school, Marisol raced to the library. She grabbed a dish and began adding colors. This one, that one, she swirled the brush to make an altogether new color. Marisol then began painting on the wall. A boy asked, "What color is that?" "That," Marisol said, "that is sky color." Dedication. Dedicated to Aldo Cervino, who took the blue paint away from me and helped me paint and think in sky color. And now I would like to share the art section with you. We went outside, although we couldn't see lots and lots of the sky where we were. Hopefully in the video you notice that you could see some of the sky, and it was through the trees. And one of the things about the sky is that when we look at it along the horizon or through the trees, the shape of the land and the trees and mountains and houses and people or anything that's standing there kind of give a shape to the edge of the sky. That's how we see it. And so this art project is not only about thinking creatively about what color to put in the sky and to fill the sky with color, but also to think about the shape of whatever is next to the sky, the horizon line or whatever silhouette we see. So I hope that you enjoyed Sky Color by Peter Reynolds. As I said at the beginning, I want to say it again, Peter Reynolds is a really, really wonderful author illustrator, and I really recommend all of his books, every single one of them. Okay, so art. In your work folder, you hopefully will find some white paper and some black paper. And the white paper is to do a sky on, and the black paper we're going to use to make the silhouette or the horizon. And I'm going to start with my sky because I'm going to choose to use paint. You guys have paint. I sent you some home, or you can really use anything for this. I like paint because I think that it blends the colors together really, really nicely. You may choose to do something else or to use a different medium that isn't paint, and that's okay, or to use your own paint, and that's okay too. But what we're going to do is we're going to fill the paper with sky. So we're going to fill it with sky. If we look outside, the sky isn't just right above us. It doesn't happen just way up high. The sky actually goes all the way down to the horizon, and then we see it in between the trees and mountains, and so it goes all the way down. Sometimes when we're just learning to do sky, we might color just at the very, very top. So what this is, it's an exercise in color and thinking about the sky and practicing filling our entire page with sky. Okay, so that's enough talking about it. I want to get right to painting. I have my paintbrush here. I have my paints. I've already added water off screen to the top of my watercolors so that water can soak in and start to activate it and make it paint, not just dry pigment. So to cover my page with sky, I'm just going to add some water, just do a water wash to my whole paper. And I'm going to ask you to remember all the way back when I did a painting video with Andrew. I don't even know how many weeks ago it was. Thank you, Andrew. But in it, we did some painting and we showed you how you can get both sides of the paper wet, and it helps prevent the paper from curling up. Because as you get one side wet and one side is dry, it affects one side of it and actually makes it curl. So if you just get both sides wet, it just helps prevent it. All right. All right, so I've got some water on both sides. I also have paper towel underneath me. Parchment paper is wonderful for underneath watercolors, and it's an easy cleanup. All right, so I'm not really worried about, okay. So my paper's wet and my watercolors are ready, and you can do blue if you want. Remember that in our book, Marisol did not have blue, and so she had to be creative. So I'm not gonna add blue. Let's see, I'm gonna start with yellow. I'm just going to add some yellow. So I did some brush strokes that were like this, and then I took orange and then I did some brush strokes that were more like dots that are gonna blend in. Because my paper is wet, I can always add more water if I want my paper to be even more wet. I've got orange and yellow. Let's add some red. So I have a lot on here. My page is pretty colorful. All right. I'm gonna take some purple. And I know that purple will mix with the red really nicely. So I'm gonna add my purple to the red area. Just gonna dot some purple in. The purple looks really nice next to the yellow. Do you remember a while back I told you that a lot of artists try not to get green into their sunset? I'm gonna add some green on purpose. Right? Remember, for your sky, you can do whatever colors you want. If you want to add green, you can add green because it's your sky. And you know what? I think I'm going to add a little bit of blue. I'm going to add my blue right on top of my green because I know that blue and green do a really nice job mixing. So I'm just going to add my blue right on top of my green. While this is drying, because it needs to be dry for the next step to do with this, I'm going to do my silhouette, my horizon. It fits over it. I'm going to keep part of the paper so that it will fit over it, and then I'm going to just shape part of it so that it will stick up into the sky and be a silhouette. Now, you don't have to choose what I choose. If you've been in my class for a while, you know that I often draw mountains. They're meaningful to me. I grew up in an area with really big mountains, and so they remind me of my family, my childhood, and so I get a really happy feeling when I think about mountains or draw mountains or paint mountains. So that's why they show up a lot in my art. You could also choose a tree, a house, a person, just whatever you choose. Make sure that you keep some of the bottom here so that it will fit like a puzzle piece right over your artwork. And it can be helpful to draw it lightly with a pencil first. If you do that, you'll be able to see the pencil a little bit, and then if you can see it after you cut it out, just take the pencil side and you want to put the pencil side down. So I have two little mountains, and notice it still has the bottom on here. It still has the bottom because I want it to fit like a puzzle piece at the bottom of my paper. Now you will have 2 white papers and 2 black papers so that you can do multiple ones. I'm going to do another one, and I'm just going to do it a little bit different, maybe with a tree form or a house maybe, so that you can see 2 different ones.